Okay, good morning. Welcome in for Friday, May 15th edition to the Safety Focus, along with corporate announcements. Before we get started, I want to quickly just go over the weather and talk about a minor change, or not really a change, but an improvement. Today's weather is looking pretty gloomy and isolated showers throughout the day, so it reminds me of have your rain gear readily available type of day. So good news is the rain gear is available in the tool crib, and it's very important that you call ahead. We're trying to minimize our foot traffic through the crib. So if you need to grab some rain gear to have on standby today, let your foreman know so we can kind of make bulk orders to Elliot in the tool crib. And again, his number is 370-4102. Again, that is 370-4102. Please call ahead so he can put your rain gear in the yellow Connex behind his shop to help minimize foot traffic in the tool crib. Thank you. So this week's code of conduct is to work towards VOSHA, OSHA, FRA, and ECI safety standards. These are important standards to help keep us safe and healthy. In providing a job site free from all recognized hazards here at Engineers Construction. So it's very important code item to us. So we're doing an excellent job out there. I've been trying to do a lot of site visits, so I want to say congratulations on meeting this code item this week. Facial coverings I know is new, but we're definitely stepping up to the plate and giving our best shot. So let's keep it up and keep moving forward. So we have a quick little update on our coronavirus policies and procedures here at Engineers Construction. We got some new guidance from Montpelier last week, and then we went through this week to kind of finalize it of our updating. So before we kind of talk about what we're doing, what the new mandate from Montpelier was temperature checks. I know everybody's probably been hearing about this in the news and everything, but again, we want to make sure that our employees are checking their temperatures before they're coming to work, and then we're following back up and just doing monitoring temperature screenings when we visit job sites or around the office. It's very important that we keep the virus away from ECI because how easily it can spread from one person to another. The temperature that we're looking for is right about that 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything higher is considered a fever according to the CDC. So those are the guidelines and the guidance that we're following. So this is our policy here, is our body temperature monitoring policy. We're asking all employees to do a daily self-check. Each employee shall perform a daily temperature check prior to reporting to work. If the body temperature is at or above this 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, the employee shall report their condition to the supervisor and please stay home. Following through, we're going to be doing employer-performed body temperature scans. Temperatures, we're utilizing a touch-free digital infrared body temperature device. We're going to follow manufacturer's instructions. The device will be wiped with disinfectant between each uses. It will be performed by Alberta and myself. We're going to be trying to do during our routine visits. We're going to try to hit the shop, tool crib, and office employees as randomized best we can, at least every 7 days. And then the test themselves, the testers and the individuals being tested will both be wearing facial coverings during this process because we'll be breaching social distancing. The testing personnel shall provide immediate pass or fail, so we'll let you know right away what the temperature scan says. And we will also report the pass-fail results on our site report form that we conduct during our visits. No names will be listed or recorded on our reporting form. So that's kind of important that everybody knows. If there's any questions regarding this new procedures that we'll be doing out in the field, and throughout the offices, please contact myself. I'll be the first one doing this over the next couple of weeks while we wait for the other temperature thermometer to show up. It is being back ordered, but hopefully it'll be here in the next couple of days. So that is all I have for this week's focus of the week. I will pass this over to Ken so we can go through our corporate announcements.
Okay, thanks, Matt. And I switched the screen. Okay, show my screen. Okay, does everybody see that?
We do, Ken. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. All right, now I just see you, Matt. Let's try that again. There we go. You see it now?
Yes, we do, Ken.
Okay, good. All right, so announcements, pretty much the same about dealing with the front office and paychecks that we've been doing. And also, if you have any transactions required, just call by phone, call ahead by phone. New hires we'll get to below. And then start with the other announcements. Is happy birthday to Scott Pigeon, May 15th. So this is kind of one of my favorite classic old family photos, which shows baby Scott just coming home from baptism on one Sunday after he was born in May 1963, with myself on the left side, big brother, and our dad Alan on holding Scott and holding me up there. So that was up in South Hero, Vermont when we were very young, obviously, 1963. So happy birthday to Scott. Here's our new employees. We have Brandon Wood. He's a skilled laborer. Looks like he's working, doing some curb work with maybe Dave. And this is Cameron Westcomb. He's another skilled laborer. And this is Tom Jenkins, another laborer. He looks like he may be assigned to some of the rail work because I see some tracks beneath him or near him. And this is Rob Barber. He's an operating foreman. Rob is a returning person to ECI. And then we have Kristen King, a new laborer. So welcome to everybody. And if you happen to see them, certainly introduce yourself and help them become part of the ECI team. So for the policies and information we posted here, I have the most recent ones. I'll post for next week the temperature monitoring procedure policy. For projects, we're profiling the boathouse ramp emergency repairs for the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department. And we were recently contracted with the City of Burlington to perform emergency repairs to the north and the south access ramps to the vessel. And yes, the boathouse really is a boat that consists of an old steel barge with a building constructed upon it. And the boathouse is loosely contained in place by a series of docks and perimeter fender piles. And the perimeter fender piles are in pretty rough shape. You can go out and push them back and forth by hand. The access ramps then are providing the primary resistance to keep the boathouse in its fixed location. And unfortunately, during some very strong winds back in March, which caused significant damage to the landside end piers, that compromised the ability of these ramps to restrain the boathouse. So the wind pulled the vessel so hard that it broke some of the connections to the mainland side through these ramps. The end piers consist of a steel frame, some C channels supported on timber piles, and then with the bearing of these ramps or the bridges effectively rested on the steel frame. So we were called in to provide a design build solution, and the repair of the south ramp consisted of 4 helical piles to replace the damaged support piles and frame repair. And the north ramp required cutting of the top of the damaged timber pile and replacing the tops with a steel jacketed section over the top of the timber, and then a steel connection into the frame, the steel framing supporting the bridge. The work was performed during the first week of the COVID-19 shutdown. Again, it was an emergency response. There was concern that it would really damage everything, or maybe launch that thing out free in the lake if it got real bad. So there's an aerial view from Google Earth, and most people are familiar with. It's the very end of College Street there, just over the railroad tracks past the Echo Center. That's the Ethan Allen ship on the bottom of the photo, and the boathouse is has the red roof with the ramps, short little ramps on the top and the bottom of the photo are the ramps that were damaged, and the connection was at the right-hand side or the easterly land side part of the bridge. So the force is pulled pretty hard. You can see that it, just put a pulling force against the bridge, and the bearing there on the ramp, the bridge twisted and pulled that frame apart a little bit and torqued it, and also damaged the timber pile. You can see the timber, top of the timber, it was sandwiched in between the steel frame, the C channels, and then we put those newer helical in there. We have a battered one because some of the load component is a horizontal longitudinal load along the bridge to restrain the boat. Also, there was a bunch of utilities there. There was water and gas and electric and everything like that that had to get temporarily relocated while we did the work. And here we are doing some of the helical. It's a pretty tight area where there was enough room to get the helical within the frame between the sections of channel. And this is that was on the south bridge. This is the north bridge. It was quite a bit cleaner and simpler because there was very little decking around it. And the piles are there in that kind of in the center of the photo, underneath that electrical conduit along where it looks like an LB or something like that, just below that where those other boards are attached to the pile. So the timber part stuck up into the channels. You can see the dark areas of channels on each side of the timber. The timber was kind of narrowed down on the top of the pile to accept the timber pile, top of the timber pile to the channel framing. And then with this end here, this is the north end. It required some jacking of the framing to get it back lined up and graded on grade. And it was fairly shallow water there. It was like almost waist high. And that's Pat Wells bent over doing some fitting up. And then they put the jacks up there, and the jacks were pressurized from above. There's Chico looking down on it, just applying a little more pressure to raise the jacks up. And there's Pat with his proud little completed work there with the cap on top of the timber pile, jacketed around the timber pile, and then connected to the steel framing above. And here's some of the idea, and I think that's really on the south side, but how tight it was working underneath there for him. Doing some welding of the steel framing there. Oh, for some reason I got a second picture there. But that was the repair, and as a photo archive, we happen to have a photo of when Mark Nash back in 2008 was doing the deck replacement, all that boardwalk area in front of the boathouse is where is made of Trex. We installed the Trex boards, decking boards back then, and the south bridge is kind of over Mark's hard hat just to the left there. It's a truss frame, aluminum truss frame. So that's what we got today. Have a good, safe day out there, and I'll turn it back to Matt.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks everybody for joining. Let's be safe out there, as like Ken said. And remember, if you're not feeling well, call your supervisor and please stay home. Have a good day.